Warrior, let's talk about Zorro Ranch. I know you may be sick of hearing about Epstein, Ghislaine, Maxwell, but we have to talk about it, and I'll tell you why. What a distraction. What a distraction from what's really going on in our own American government. I want to share a few facts with you. I just got off of a private meeting, and it is so incredible how our Congress can work on these child safety laws and come up with this stuff that harms American kids and families. First of all, Zorro Ranch, what a distraction from everything else. That's low-hanging fruit, as we like to call it at the Warriors, and that's what people like to read about, and that gets the numbers and the clicks and the likes. But that was purchased in New Mexico by Jeffrey Epstein way back in like 1993, I believe. Acres and acres of property in the middle of nowhere, a desert. We had many of the victims of Epstein Maxwell. Remember, I always say Epstein Maxwell. To me, they're both equally complicit, as well as many others, where they brought so many teens and young women, and they reported decades ago what was going on there. Nobody listened. Until right now, 2026, there's never been a probe into Zorro Ranch. We at the Warriors always maintained that's the place to look. Not the island, not the Manhattan townhouse, but the real goings-on were Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. As described to me a long time ago, a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, Maxwell as well, when they were there was nowhere to run. You can't run away. You were trapped there. What was going on, reported to me, was they talked about eugenics, races with DNA from Jeffrey Epstein, creating their own race. They talked a lot about big tech, and we're going back into the 90s before we know what we know today about tech. So they were worried about all that. So I know traditionally, we're always talking about sex trafficking with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But that, yes, is a part of it. But the bigger picture is what we should be looking at. And why was there no FBI probe until now, 2026? Because everybody's making a lot of noise about things, because Epstein files, it's going to go nowhere. I feel like a dig, I read something that said it would take 8 years to do a dig on the entire property. Too little, too late. Who shut down any kind of probes? Who's responsible? We know Bill Richardson was, Governor Bill Richardson, he was involved somehow, but you know what? He's no longer with us. So let's focus on what's happening now in Congress. Senate. The Senate is trying to pass this Coppa, C-O-P-P-A, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And they want an adult, a digital adult, to be considered 13. They want a 13-year-old to be able to make any decisions online, right? And basically it says, let me water it down for you a little. Not water it down, let me give you the facts. Parents have no rights. We are going to have 13-year-olds making decisions. That is the most incredible thing. 13 is still a child, right? So as advocates, we must demand, right? Senate.gov, House.gov. And I'll put a link in this video. What is going on here? But everybody under 13 is not, I'm like floored by all of this information. Who would even think in their right mind? It's giving an open, pass to AI. But what they'll do is they will scrape all the information from all of these kids. And those kids forever will be bound to this, their information being spread for the rest of their lives. And AI is using this, their information as kids, for their training models. So we're going to have to demand COPPA, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which basically the original version, 1998, said you can't sell, very simple, you can't sell children's information, right? You can't do it. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, we know they've done it. And we know now they're seeking more and more of that information from our kids. So let's come together. While it's important to keep talking about Epstein Maxwell because we have all of these victims, not only of them, about the whole movement of survivors and victims of sex trafficking. Will they ever be held accountable? I'm sorry to say, I don't think so. Too complicit, top down, of those involved. Don't be sidelined. Let's focus on what I'm talking about. Kids Online Safety Act, Senate version we need, 1748. I'll put a link for that. I want all of you to go to house.gov, senate.gov, and rally for that. And also this Coppa 2.0, where they want kids to be digital adults at 13, right? And they want to wipe away parents intervening. And we are not going to allow this. This is the United States of America. Congress works for us our tax dollars. This is incredible what's going on. The American public really has no idea because media is, favoritism is towards AI, artificial intelligence, and all that nonsense. So let's come together. Let's honor our warriors. Hashtag community creates change. And together, let's wake up each and every day and go out and be a warrior.